to Been There, Watch That. We're your favorite movie reviewers. Myself, Justin, Dave, and Joe. And we're at BeenThereWatchThat.com.
Hold
Go back.
time out. Now we're everybody's favorite. I like where this is going. Yeah,
That's what I'm,
you
that's
need
what
to.
I'm hearing.
Yeah, you need to put that. Yeah, that's everybody says we're the favorite. If you're a movie reviewer, you
Yeah.
now know you're at least in second place
Yeah.
because first place is taken.
I mean, our
Thank you.
podcast name is just so catchy.
Yeah. Look,
BeenThereWatchThat.com.
yeah, look out, Siskel and Ebert. You're yesterday's news.
That's right. You want the real deal? Come see Been There, Watch That with us.
Yeah. Because
All right.
who watches new movies?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
you
right,
can
sorry,
find us.
Justin.
No problem. You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in BTWT Pod, and reach out to us. Let us know if you got any movie recommendations. We're always open to that, and we like seeing new stuff we've never seen before. This one, I wanted to torture the guys a little bit this week. Give them a reading project, wrapped into a movie project. So subtitles throughout this entire film from 2008, Ip Man.
The Ip Man. Yeah, I had to text you guys because like, wait a minute, you're all in subtitles too.
Yeah, I got that text last night and I just laughed. I was like,
Well,
can't be
I
right.
watched like 3/4 of it and I was like, wait a minute, I might not even be watching the right thing because subtitles.
right.
Yeah, you got to speed read some sections.
Yeah.
They fly by with like 2 or 3 sentences real quick.
And you can tell that somebody in China did the subtitles because it didn't make sense
Some of
sometimes.
them didn't make sense.
Yeah.
There'd be a weird question mark.
Yeah.
thrown in or-
Yeah, there was a weird question mark.
Well, and it's one of those. The way the wording of the sentence is like it was grammatically correct, but it's one of those. You can't tell me that's they're intense in it. They're arguing and just the way the sentence was worded, it's like there's no way that guy is so mad that he's saying that's not nice. Like I guarantee you, he did say that's not nice. It's too intense to be.
Yeah.
That's not nice.
Sometimes you hear the audio and it sounds they're talking for like 10 seconds straight, but then it's like a 3-word
Yeah.
translation.
Yeah.
Like, I think he said a little more than 3 words there.
So I got a question, guys, before we even get started. I'm sitting there watching it, and a thought crosses my mind: why do I have the audio turned on?
Yeah.
I know that I'm not going to understand a word of what they're
For
saying.
the punch sounds,
Okay.
people getting kicked.
Yeah,
Lots of punch and kick sounds in this.
yeah. When he punches really fast, sounds like a machine gun going off. It's like this is almost like a cartoon where
Yeah.
I can't remember. Maybe it's Popeye that sits there and just bangs somebody's nose
Yeah.
like 20 times in a row, and they just sit there and take it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep, wow.
For the listeners out there, this is a kung fu movie.
Yes.
Switching gears here, I said, you know what? I would never watch this normally. Probably let's make the
Everybody
boys
was
watch it.
kung fu fighting. Well, I gotta say, the most surprising thing for me was Bruce Lee's involvement.
Yes.
And I never thought about Bruce Lee. I mean, he's Asian, obviously, but I never thought he was Chinese. Never even thought about it.
Right.
Where his heritage was. But then he studied under this guy, under the Ip Man. And the second thing that confused me is everybody else had like what I would call regular Chinese names, and his was Ip Man.
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Master Ip Man. I don't know.
So you guys ready for
This
Hold
should
on,
be
hold-
rundown?
interesting.
Okay.
Joe's
One more thing.
Okay.
Wing Chun.
that's
That's his martial art background.
that's the,
Really?
Yeah, so it's
The
kung
style.
fu, but his style is Wing Chun.
And in the original, for those of you trying to figure out the audio on it, the original audio was Cantonese, was the original language that they were speaking. Because I looked it up
Gotcha.
when I was clicking the subtitles last night, because after Dave sent the text, I was like, let me just see. Because I went through subtitles and it said audio and it said Cantonese original. So I clicked it, I was like, maybe there's like an English dubbed version. There's not. It's
I didn't even know that when I picked it, but oh well. We reviewed revealed a little bit last time our various methods of choosing, and I was dubbed the Google guy because I just kind of Googled best movies on Netflix, and this was highly rated.
yeah. Justin does kind of just a random pick, and usually I can't argue with your methods, Justin, because you've hit more than missed. So I can't.
Yeah,
It's different.
we'll see about this one. Let's see what sort of rating this one gets.
Are you saying hold the pats on the back just yet?
Yeah.
Are you starting to question your own method? Is that what I'm picking up here?
Yeah, I need a home run at some point. 'Cause I've been hitting some ground balls lately.
Well, going with a movie with subtitles definitely leading that direction. Maybe.
Okay.
The home run?
Now he said he's hitting some grounders here lately. He picked Die Hard.
Hey, he hated Die Hard. So
I still don't, Justin. I'm that's the one I'm throwing the big question
It was a
on.
foul ball and it hit the drink right out of my hand. And
Yeah, hit the old lady beside you. Knocked grandma out of the
Yeah.
park.
Poor grandma.
Poor grandma. Why is it always gotta be grandma? Anyway, this is craziness. Do you guys know there were 4 of them?
Yes.
Okay. Mike Tyson's in Ip Man 3.
What timeout?
Yeah.
So, what I cannot wrap my head around
Uh-huh.
is the way the movie ends. How, they pretty much sum up the rest of his life.
Yeah.
How can there be multiple sequels to this?
Yep.
I guess you gotta just ignore that. They'll
And-
just restart again.
And then, so you said it's the second or third one that Mike Tyson's in.
Third.
Third. Okay, so now we're adding
Ip Man 3 from 2016. Mike Tyson's in it.
So now we're adding Mike Tyson to this mix. So part of me wants to go. I don't want to go down this road of the sequels, but there's a small part of me going, okay, we know that the way the movie ended. So how could they actually, where can they go from here? I'm torn.
Apparently to Mike Tyson.
Yeah, kind of crazy that this would become a 4-movie franchise.
Yes,
Was it
that's-
really that many people clamoring like, we need the sequel?
It's like
To
it's
me,
based,
this was enough.
Well,
This man
it's-
was enough.
based on a true story. So, and you've chronicled, basically his whole life. So how can you?
No, they chronicled him going to Hong Kong. So that's where I think the rest of these pick up.
'Cause I
After-
guess he-
Because
he
he opens a school in Hong Kong.
Right.
Right. So right after at the end of the movie, they talk about him opening at school and all that, and I pretty much read that off as okay. Well, that's what he did the rest of his life. Then he died. The end.
Yeah.
let's paint a picture for folks a little bit. You got a little bit of a synopsis?
Yeah, Joe.
So Ip Man is during the Japanese invasion of China, a wealthy martial artist is forced to leave his home when his city is occupied. With little means of providing for themselves, Ip Man and the remaining members of the city must find a way to survive. And for the casting call, it's a very small casting call. Only 2 recognizable names here. Donnie Yen plays Ip Man, and he's known for the rest of the Ip Man series, as well as Rogue One, a Star Wars story. And the next one would be Simon Yam plays Quan, and he's known for Lara Croft Tomb Raider. A lot of the rest of the actors in the film are mostly Asian movie stars of Asian movies. A lot of flicks that probably hit a niche audience here in America. So most of the movies I'd never heard of. So it's a very, very small casting call this week.
We were
Yeah.
chatting about it a little bit this morning, and Dave commented on this. What is it? Where did this guy get all his money? He's living in like this huge mansion.
Yeah, he's in a
Part of the-
mansion, doesn't have to work.
Part of the story is, he goes from, he has like a butler basically to when the Japanese invade, they take over his house and use it as a military headquarters. So now he's like, has like a cup of rice a day. Like pretty much goes from being this like real wealthy guy at the beginning of the movie to living in squalor kind of
Yeah.
about halfway through.
Yeah, pretty much shuffling coal.
Right.
Yeah, interesting. The hard part for me was this movie was predictable.
Yeah, a little bit cheesy, and I guess in some ways, in the storyline context of,
Yeah.
well, obviously he's like gonna save the day, kind of.
Yeah, saves the day. The scoundrels go off. The scoundrels come back. The army general comes in. He's fair, but sets this deal up. His henchman, his right hand man, is horrible and needs taken care of. And You know, the guy that sold him out ends up saving the day again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and of course the Ip Man saves the day. He's the greatest ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
Oh.
does get shot though, then.
Yeah.
As I was watching it, I was thinking, you know what? I'd like to see Ip Man versus Chuck Norris just to see what would happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, part of the thing is like, remember the scene where the police officer's like, now listen here, gun is what runs this town, not martial arts, and he kind of like, with one hand, like, takes the gun apart in his hand sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That
I
was
called.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that was cool, and I was like, "That's bunk," because there's a rod that actually goes through to keep a cylinder in place. Like that.
Yeah.
That don't get me wrong, that was pretty cool. I was like, "Yeah, it's bunk."
Yeah. But yeah, it's kind of a theme in the movie. It's just like, how does martial arts, can it really like be a force for standing up against like an army and soldiers? With
I'm
guns
pretty
and
sure
stuff?
Indiana Jones already proved that theory.
Yeah.
Have you seen Indiana Jones?
Yeah, a long time ago.
The Raiders of
I've
the
seen
Lost
the
Ark?
first one.
Okay. Joe, do you know what I'm talking about?
I've seen bits and pieces.
Oh, jeez.
What, he takes a whip and takes out a bunch
No.
of people with guns?
A guy comes up and does a bunch of fancy sword work, and everybody's like, yeah, he's going to carve him up. He pulls out his pistol, boom, shoots him.
Yeah.
You know, shrugs it off, puts his pistol away, walks away.
Yeah, it's part of the thing is like, yeah, can this martial arts master like really actually stand up against soldiers? And for the most part, they kind of just have their way with the townspeople, but then
Oh, yeah.
he trains all the townspeople to like fight back, sort of thing. Which you wonder, is any of this realistic or historically accurate at all, or is they kind of making stuff up?
Yeah, where's the history and where's the polish for the entertainment?
Yeah, they took a real person in a real time period, but yeah,
Yeah,
maybe that's where it ends. Because the real it had like 7 kids, but in this movie there's only like 1 kid the whole time. Maybe they didn't want to pay for all those child actors.
Yeah, who knows?
But apparently he came from a lot of money. That's why he's in this crazy like mansion, basically.
well, what
at the
gets
beginning.
me is if he did come from money, how did he fall in such a low? How did he fall from those graces so quickly? When the interpreter, he was trained by Master Yip, but he came in such a high position. How did those two positions switch so quickly?
Yeah, the interpreter used to be the police officer.
I think
Is
so.
that who that was?
I think
Yeah.
They kind of switched sides a little bit and started kind of working for the Japanese army once they invaded. Yeah, maybe it was just his moral code was just too high, and he wouldn't want to be seen as a traitor and working for the other side or something.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
that's
that
how
makes
I took
sense.
it. He didn't want to be a traitor.
that makes sense.
Because they looked at remember the guy that was the translator. He's like, everybody thought he was a traitor because he's like, I gotta get rice. You
Yeah.
know, gotta do something.
You notice how he would translate, and Ip would basically be telling the Japanese soldiers off, and the translator would be like, "Oh, he'll think about it."
Yeah,
He
yeah,
basically tells them, "No way."
Yeah.
yeah.
So Bruce Lee, whose father was Han Chinese and mother was Eurasian, had trouble because purists wanted Chinese martial arts to be restricted to Chinese students that were fully Chinese only. But the Ip Man took him on as a mentee and a student.
Wow.
Pretty neat. Anyway, so go ahead.
I was just gonna throw out the Wing Chun discipline that they're using requires quick arm movements, strong legs, then also relaxation. You kind of notice that as part of his thing. Kind of seemed like Ip Man was always just kind of laid back, would see everything coming, but he wasn't going forward with a ton of like energy. It was more like being like relaxed,
Yeah, he was
blocking kicks. and
Yeah, he
stuff.
was more precision
Yeah.
than just flailing arms everywhere.
Okay. So, as usual, I want to know what the most poignant part of the film was for you or what you remember. So, if somebody asks you, hey, what's the best thing or most important thing about Ip Man? What do you guys see?
Justin, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
Well, I mean, one part that stood out for me was, the Japanese they moved in, they kicked him out of his house, and through all this, he's pretty much not raised a fist to anybody. But then they show up at his house and basically comment on his wife is pretty, which with a bunch of soldiers, you're like, oh gosh, this could go bad. So him just totally whooping all the soldiers, like finally standing up and defending his family. For me, that was a pretty cool part of the movie that I liked.
Yeah. Joseph?
The one for me would be the second time through when the interpreter comes and gathers recruiters for the fights, and Ip Man steps in, and knowing that his friend never came back, and goes in and sees the first competitor to get shot in the head, but yet still willing to go on to take on the battle.
I agree with you. That was mine, is when he finally broke bad on like the 9 guys, the 9 black belts,
Yeah.
and just wreaked utter
Chaos.
havoc and chaos on those poor fellas.
Yes, so when it got down to the last guy, I told Cena, I was like, why? If I was that last guy, I would have just laid down and played dead. Because it's one of those, are you really that arrogant to think, okay, he just whooped these 9 guys, I'm going to be the guy that takes him down? Or like, really? Are you that dumb?
Yes, I thought with some of the fighting, there'd be times where it's just happening too fast. You have really no idea what's.
Yeah.
Sometimes they kind of zoom in on, he kind of kicked him on this area, or he was using a lot of wouldn't necessarily use a fist. He'd have open hand sort of thing.
Yeah.
Hitting him with the side of his hand, doing all sorts of stuff. But
Yeah, and it wasn't like a full swing back and a full punch. It was just like little rapid punches that you just have no time to react to.
Yeah. But I mean, I didn't feel like there's a lot of power behind those.
yeah, it's almost like he grind him down
Yeah.
to eventually. Yeah, no big knockout punch or anything. It's
Yeah.
just kind of accumulation of all the damage he's putting on you.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, if somebody takes one big swing and punches you in the face, you're gonna react to it. But
Unless it's Mike Tyson, then there's no reaction needed. Thank you.
this is true. But if you have 100 small punches in the face, you're going to be trying to get away. It's almost
Yeah.
like a swarm of bees attacking
Trying to
you.
get your vision back, and
Yeah, it's like a swarm of bees coming after you. All you're trying to do is trying to get away from you. You're not going to have time to start fighting back.
Yeah. So this is made in 2010.
I
Really?
thought it was 2008.
Yes, 2008.
Well,
Unless-
it was released in 2010.
okay.
Yeah, but it's a 2008 Hong Kong biographical. But anyway, you guys want to know what it made at the box office?
Yep. Well, can I guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
500,000.
Really? That low? I'm going to say 10 million.
22.11 million.
Wow,
Really?
That's way out.
It's what it made or what it cost?
It says what the box office.
Okay, so what it made.
Pretty.
That's
I've
in
never heard of
America?
this. I find it very interesting.
That's in America made?
Yep, USD. USD.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah. Kind of hard to picture people in this year going out and seeing a subtitled movie. Don't you think?
I don't know. I mean, 22 million worth? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
But I mean, there's some cult movies out there that don't make a lot of sense, but people just love them.
Like I say, this only makes my second movie that was completely subtitled.
Really?
Yep.
I mean,
yeah,
there's
for me it wasn't a huge deal, but
no, I didn't mind it.
it might have been. I don't know. Sometimes I can't tell if I would rather have dubbed or subtitled. Sometimes dubbed is kind of distracting.
Yeah,
Not very good voice acting and stuff.
yeah. I think for whatever reason, if you would have dubbed this one, I think it might have taken away from it.
It was already dubbed poorly, so
Right.
So, the Ip Man trained in Wing Chun most of his life. He died of cancer in 1972, which is months before his student Bruce Lee died on set.
What was that? Was that an accident or
Yeah,
something?
a real bullet hit him.
Really?
No, I thought that's what killed his son.
I think it killed his son as well.
No?
Look that up. I'm not positive about Bruce Lee.
I think
but
that was his son because his son, that was on
was
the
Brandon.
movie set of The Crow.
yeah, Brandon Lee.
Davey comments, sometimes it almost looked cartoonish the way he would like punch like 50 times in a row. Overall though, what did you think of the fight? Choreography or
Okay.
whatever.
So Bruce Lee died in Hong Kong in 1973 from swelling of the brain caused by an allergic reaction to headache medication.
Yeah, that was his son that died of the bullet
That's right.
on the movie set The Crow.
Yep.
Which I've not seen that movie. Is it any good?
Yeah, it is. Kinda.
Alright guys, you gotta rate the fights. What do you think? Silly? Over the top? Too over the top? Kinda cool? Not that cool?
I was saying,
Some of it
Kinda
was
in the
good.
middle.
Some of it was over the top.
Yeah. I thought some of it wasn't like insanely unrealistic, but yeah.
yeah,
There's some rope work going on. They're flying around a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. Some of the exactly. Some of the stuff where he kind of like hangs in the air for an extended second, like
He kicks and he flies like way further than he would have
yeah.
flown, probably.
yeah,
Some
no-
of that going on.
yeah, that a little bit, but I mean, as far like for the intricate fight scenes where like he's in there with 9 guys and he's pummeling all the guys, like okay, that's almost believable.
Mm-hmm.
But but like with the last fight with the general or whatever his name was, that one's a little far stretched. Like
Right.
you're gonna be leaning over the edge like that.
Yeah. They're on like an elevated stage for fighting. What'd you think of the out-of-towner guy that came in and was challenging all the masters? What about those fights?
Yeah. My Northern Chinese, let me show you up. The movie itself had a lot of premises that just were silly, and you could tell that it was someone. Like I always think of those premises that it's like a 10-year-old kid saying, "Hey, this would be a cool movie."
Yeah.
If you're gonna come in and set up a school, what would be the first thing you do? Well, I'd go around and whoop all the other people,
Yeah.
and then my school would be the best, wouldn't it? It was
Yeah.
that attitude, and I
Yeah.
was just like, oh, really? You know,
These guys from out of town, they thought
walk in and
they could open a school and that
yeah,
if they came through and showed that they could whoop everybody there, then everyone would want to go to their school
Right.
of martial arts. Yeah, some of the other, quote unquote masters of the other martial arts schools. It's like every Ip Man was like way above all of them, supposedly.
Yeah.
Like kind of made them look kind of like they
made him
didn't
look
really know
silly.
what they're doing.
Well, and it's funny is like, where's the martial arts street? So they had a whole street and buildings dedicated to just teaching martial arts, and they just stood out in their little courtyards or out in the street and did their martial arts, And that premise is just kind of like, really? That's
But the idea of challenging someone to a duel thing was kind of funny too.
I can kind of see that though.
Back in the 1930s, yeah.
Yeah.
But when the guys come from out of town, the second guy they challenge, he whips out a huge staff with a blade on the end of it. So they're fighting with like lethal weapons.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like this is not smart.
Yeah,
If this is just supposed to be like a duel to see who's better,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna get their head chopped off.
yeah, that's kind of what I thought was weird. I thought, okay, I thought this was just kind of a test, but like, no, they're going for full blood on.
Yeah, I thought some of the little side characters were kind of silly, like the little rascal like brother that was looking in through the window. He's
Yeah.
just kind of over the top
Lost his kite.
rascal
Yeah.
kid.
And then how that whole scene where he's there at the business and he's like, yeah, I'm just telling the truth. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
At first I was like, this cat's mentally disabled.
Yeah.
And because he just didn't understand what's wrong with humiliating someone.
Going around gossiping.
Well-
And telling other people's business. And then his brother pulls his pants down and says, there, how do you understand? I'm like, I don't even know what lesson we're supposed to be trying to teach here, but
Well, my thoughts were, is,
and it's like middle school. We're gonna pants somebody now.
yeah. Well, my thoughts were okay. So you've seen what Ip Man can do. Are you really gonna go around running your mouth, knowing that he can literally pick you up, literally rip you limb from limb, and tie you up in a pretzel and leave you there to die? You're really gonna go run your mouth and say things that you know you shouldn't be going around saying? That's just stupid.
Oh man.
Yeah. So, and then defending yourself. So, interesting stuff. I don't know.
Have you guys ever watched like a Bruce Lee movie or anything in the past?
Yeah.
Like Enter the Dragon. I
Yeah,
guess is one
I've
of the
seen Enter the Dragon.
biggest ones.
I haven't seen him.
He beats up Chuck Norris.
Really?
Really?
Oh, yeah.
See, there you go, Joe.
Answer that question.
I know. All these people are like Chuck Norris. I was like, yeah, he got whooped by Bruce Lee. I don't hear it.
You guys ever watch Walker, Texas Ranger?
Oh yeah.
No.
It's a good
Have
one.
you not?
My old roommate and I, we'd watch it as like for comedy though, because just the crazy stuff he would pull off.
Yeah, it was like these people would have, a pistol that would hold at most 6 rounds, and like they're shooting 20 rounds, and he's dodging all of them.
Yeah.
Although
Yep.
his truck was pretty cool.
The thing with the pistol that he kind of took apart, Joe, he said was a little unbelievable. But the thing I did like about it is that he grabbed it with his finger behind the guy's
Behind the trigger,
finger
yeah.
that's on the
That's a
trigger.
common
Yeah.
way to block
So
a.
the guy couldn't pull the trigger. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool, I thought.
Yeah. Common strategy. Hope you get it right and you don't shoot yourself on accident.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, yeah, anyway. Interesting movie.
I'd say it's probably pretty far from any sort of historical reality. I think they probably just took this character that really existed and
And
Well, there's.
souped him up.
I found the thing. It's 16 facts about the Ip Man. According to one of his main students, Duncan Long, he says the Ip Man was an opium addict and used it regularly and funded his habit through, his school earnings.
Okay. He was a police officer. at
Yeah,
one
he
point,
was a police officer in the beginning of his career.
which they totally left out of the movie.
Yeah.
Because that didn't.
Yeah, he
vibe
kind of
with-
seemed like mad at the police.
That didn't go with the story they wanted to tell.
Yeah, he had 5 children. One of them was with a mistress.
we only see one.
Yeah. And Ip Man's first teacher, Chan Hua Sun, died a couple years into his teaching. So he was his original sensei, but a lot of his techniques come after his teacher's death, but doesn't say from who. And let's see, what else? He arrived in Hong Kong to earn money. So the question was, if he was already wealthy, why would he have taught, in Hong Kong? But so that was kind of like a misnomer of what actually happened.
Yeah.
And he moved to Hong Kong to avoid the Communist Party when they entered the Fushan region. And his students even knew about his mistress. Her name was Shang Ho Po, and she mothered one of his children. And he won various fights. In his 20s as a police officer, and he did lose some of his fights, and one of his losses came to Loing Bick, who was one of his teachers, so that was understandable. 5'3", about 55 kilograms. So, yeah. And he was known for birthing the classic quote that's still used today, which is, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit."
So we was talking about the swords and the spears and all that. There actually was at least one injury on the film set. Hiroyuki Ikiuchi, who played the Japanese general, suffered a mild concussion during filming after being struck 4 times during a fight scene.
Jeez.
With the speed of those punches, it's no wonder.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because like clearly it takes a huge amount of skill to do these fight scenes, but then at the end of the day, they can kind of look a little bit cheesy. It's like unfortunate
Yeah.
that somebody with that much skill and like putting all this effort into it, and then you're kind of like, But I think, something like a Matrix, I mean, definitely borrows from this tradition of some of the fights in the Matrix, the first one, a lot of the same kind of kung fu style of
Oh yeah.
blocking lots of punches and but with that you get to suspend disbelief a little bit because it's the Matrix, so it's
Yeah.
not reality. So he could kick somebody and he could fly 40 feet through a wall. And it's kind of cool in that context.
But here's what's crazy: is the Matrix came out first.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Matrix came out March 31st, 1999.
Yeah, way earlier. Wow.
Yeah. Neat stuff.
Okay.
I don't know.
So
Kind of crazy.
I googled Ip Man and Matrix connections,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot of people on Reddit saying they're seeing a lot of similarities like we're seeing. So for one, the Matrix trilogy choreographer Yuen Wu Ping has worked on the third, fourth, and fifth Ip Man films, and the 2013 film The Grandmaster, which is also about the life of Ip Man, but from a different producers.
Really?
So both the Matrix and Ip Man series draw from the same sources, i.e., Hong Kong action cinema. So that explains that. That makes sense why we're seeing a lot of similarities then.
Yeah. This is an interesting movie all the way around. I liked when they showed his wooden training device.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. You see those a lot in martial arts movies, but still kind of neat to see.
Yeah, it's kind of got like pegs on it that you
Yeah.
on different heights of the.
I'll be honest, I kind of wanted one. I was like, you know what?
So he's sitting there like moving his hands, all hitting the pegs on different. Yeah.
Angles.
And
Good.
did you notice when he was practicing? Again, it was one of those just short little movements. It wasn't
Yeah.
like a whack and then a full pull back. It was
Mhm.
just he would start at the top, and basically just work his way down.
Yeah, it's almost like it's like a meditative type practice for him. Just like like you said, Joe, the mental side of this style of fighting kind of
Yeah.
seemed like he was big on focus and not as big on power or anything.
Yeah, more focus and precision than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says the style, like part of it is protecting your center line while constantly trying to attack your opponent's center line. You do this through footwork and fast punches.
Yeah. I don't know, Justin. What are you thinking? I remember. So you came out of here and you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna show you guys this great movie."
Yeah.
And then you texted and said, "Sorry, it might not be that great, but here's where it's located if you need it again."
Yeah.
Yeah, I got scared Monday when Justin sent that text, and I thought, okay, has Justin already started this? Is he regretting his decision?
Well, yeah, as soon as I picked it, a part of me thought, okay, high ratings, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Every one of those people could be people who just love kung fu movies.
Right.
So that type of crowd would say this is a good version of that thing we like. But on the great scheme of all movies ever made, which we're trying to do here, I don't know how you could,
Did
definitely cheesy. I mean, I thought there were some parts where I was kind of just laughing at some of the characters. They were just kind of over the top. And, like you said, the whole pantsing thing, and it's just kind of like, are they trying to be serious with this movie, or is this? Then a little bit of, you can see what's coming. He's going to train the regular folks to kind of fight back against bullies. And
Yeah, he was a hero. Everybody loved him. He made sensible choices, and was very considered. I noticed, his, the guy that owned the factory that borrowed money from him. He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. Well, I can't pay you back for it. Don't worry about it." And I never even thought about it.
Yeah, but
And then he came back and he's
Already
like, "I don't
forgot
have the
about
money to pay." He's like, "I already forgot about it."
yeah.
And the guy's son's like, "Why doesn't he want to take a job here?" He's like, he doesn't like owing people.
Right. The It Man, he's just the best type of guy you could ever be. I don't know. This is not quite what I pictured. The storyline. I don't know what I was picturing exactly, but
Whatever it wasn't this.
yeah.
But yeah, kind of interesting. Now his take on Bruce Lee was that Bruce Lee was an actor who was decent at martial arts,
Wow.
just in the right place, the right time.
Okay, so if Bruce Lee was just decent, and he's done some phenomenal stuff,
Yeah, keep in mind he was an actor.
but still,
What did he do that was phenomenal?
well, just watch his work. I mean, just how he moves.
Well, I mean, he did train for 2 years to move like that.
True. I would actually like to see actual footage of Ip Man at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What caught my eye was like, okay, we've definitely not done anything like this. I don't know. I kind of like just throwing curveballs when I can and seeing what happens. But,
Keeps us on our toes.
you know, a sci-fi or a kung fu or, you know, just throwing out different styles of movies. Seeing what. But to answer your question, Dave, yeah, I'm probably not going to go real high with this one.
Oh, geez, Justin, come on, it's your own pick, and you're submarining yourself.
Did
Man.
I enjoy it? I guess. It was alright. Would I recommend it to anyone? Probably not.
What? You wouldn't recommend it to anybody?
Oh, yeah, somebody that likes fighting scenes and fighting movies, but it's not going on any sort of top 10 list for me or anything. Joe, what do you think? Can we get a little hint as to, and also, what the wife thought of it?
We was kind of on the same page on this one. At the
Oh,
beginning,
boy.
it started out a little slow, and I was
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
okay.
Was there any popcorn even involved in your rating? I mean, I know our lowest one's burnt popcorn,
Right.
but there could be just empty box.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a possible new rating.
I'm joking.
okay.
I don't think this one was that bad.
Just a preview. Yes, yes, there will be popcorn in the bucket.
Okay.
So Dave, can we get a preview, an inkling of?
I didn't think it was bad. I kind of enjoyed it. I'll say that. Now, I'm kind of with Justin. I feel like I couldn't recommend it to too many people because it's subtitled and
Yeah,
bad,
it's kind of a hard sell.
and bad lip dubbing. But kind of a cheesy story here and there. But overall, I mean, not bad.
Is it-
I didn't hate it like
You
Howard
could
the
watch
Duck.
this with, you
It
could
wa-
watch this with a kid.
It wasn't like ridiculous.
There's nothing too
Well, it's all
vulgar in it or anything like that.
well, we don't know.
Right.
The dubs,
Right.
the dubs are
No.
pretty. Yeah.
Yeah. No nudity, nothing like that.
Right. Yeah.
It's rated
Yeah.
R though. That's surprising.
I think it's probably because of the violence.
Yeah, I was gonna say people getting shot in the head.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I got an issue with
Let's hear it.
the assistant to the general.
Yeah.
That lunatic was way too gun happy.
Well, I mean,
So
he
he-
was a war guy, so
But still, he shoots that guy in the head for taking the bag of rice. The general told him not to. I figured the general was going to just off him right there. The way he was acting, I was like, do it. So then, turn around, and he shows up at Ip Man's house and starts pointing a gun at that kid. I had huge issue with that.
yeah.
That was completely unjustifiable. There was literally no need for that. And then turns around and shoots Ip Man at the end.
And makes an advance on his wife. Was that same guy?
Yes.
Just not a great guy. That guy.
Yeah, just a slime ball all the way through. And it's like, why couldn't we have gotten rid of him when we had the opportunity?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. When I was watching it, I thought I seen it a little bit. I'm like, hopefully she's not hating this too much. Yeah.
No, she. It started out a little slow, but then once it finally picked up, boy did it.
Yeah. I don't see. That's the thing. I wasn't like bored through the whole thing. There's constant action. I thought.
Yeah. Once the action started, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning though, I was kind of confused by the storyline because, at first the Ip Man, his wife's mad at him. He doesn't pay attention to his son. He just walks around jobless and wealthy and, practicing martial arts here and there, and he's the greatest thing ever. But yet, obviously, his wife is like, you need to pay attention to your son. And his son's like, yeah, he doesn't have any interest in me. So, a great guy for the community, but not a great family guy.
Yeah.
And then he kind of turns it around. Like, you got to fight for our community. He's like, I got to pay attention to my son.
Right.
So, I don't. And then he ends up doing neither, so I don't know.
Yeah, the way they like show that is he's over there kind of sparring with some guy or something, and in the middle of that, his wife's like, "Oh, go show your dad the picture you made."
Yeah.
But then he's like, "I'm busy right now," and the kid's like, "Oh, real sad." It's like, I don't know. It's a little too obvious, like the way they set that up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's not paying attention to him while he's in the middle of something. Like, wait 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And then take a look at the picture.
But I think his wife did that on purpose, just to, like she said later in the movie. He used to do that, and I would throw a tantrum.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that kind of interesting that it's kind of gone full circle. What she had always ridiculed and given him a hard time about is the thing that she needs him to do now to save them both.
Yeah. And then convinces the business guy or the translator to turn around and drive him back so she could watch his final fight. Interesting.
Kind of funny when the guy comes by Ip Man's mansion to challenge him to a duel or something, and he's kind of like basically trying to be the good husband. He's like, "No, you need to leave. You need to leave." But then the other guy's talking some smack, and his wife's like, "Just don't break my stuff or whatever. Try not to break my things."
Yeah.
So they're like fighting, and every time a pot breaks, Ip Man's like, "Oh no."
Yeah, and the guy's like, "I'll pay."
But then Ip Man goes around town, and everyone's like, "Oh, Ip Man, take it for free. We love you." And he's like the celebrity around town. Everybody wants to give him free stuff.
Yeah. It's kind of weird, you think, now, Japan attacking into China. A little bit of history for you there, a little bit of world knowledge.
Yeah, but they get a pretty bad rap for that, I guess. They weren't exactly going by the Geneva Convention codes
Yeah.
the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This, for me, when I watch it, I'm like, this was interesting, I guess, but not blowing me away and kind of silly at times. So I think I'm probably overflowing small or medium. That's where I'm at on this one.
What?
Yeah.
Possibly a medium? What'd you rank? What was our last movie?
What was
Bullet.
it? Yeah, Bullet.
That's right.
Medium on that.
Yeah, okay. All right, just checking.
Die Hard small / burnt.
Jeez. Wow. And yet, Yip Man gets a overflowing small / medium.
Yeah, yeah.
I get the feeling the Yip Man's gonna be a cult classic. I mean, it already kind of is. They did 4 of them, I guess.
5. I just found out.
Oh, okay, 5 of them, and they're on Netflix. So,
So how much popcorn does Ip Man get?
Give me some context on your question. Like, would I recommend it to someone else, or just overall quality, or the historical background of it?
Well, I think it's kind of overall like with
Overall, still, man.
Just for you personally, what would you give it?
Yeah, I mean,
for your experience watching it.
That's the hard part, because since we've started doing this, what show is this?
47?
47?
Yeah.
I mean, I've started watching movies in a completely different way.
Yes.
So that's what makes it hard. Because I'm sitting here saying, overall, I mean, a neat movie, neat concept.
Right.
I enjoyed the subtitles, weirdly enough. Because I just haven't seen too many like that, and it's not a movie where you can just zone out and still know what's going on.
Right.
A little bit of plot twist here and there. The Ip Man I felt like was the right guy for the character. The bad guy looked like the bad guy. The general looked interesting. Like, he was a handsome guy that didn't look benevolent or mean.
He was one of those. It was hard to read if he was going to be a good guy or a bad guy, because it was one of those.
He kind of looked wise.
Yeah, it was one of those. He was supposed to be the bad guy, but he had just something about him that, like, he had some good intentions in him.
Well, I mean, so I read his character as even though Japan was invading China, he was truly interested in martial arts. I mean, like when his henchman shot the guy, he's like, "This is a safe place for tournament only."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
isn't where you murder people
Yeah,
or whatever he said.
that's what I'm saying. He's
So he still had fairness about him.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a bad guy, but he has some kind of good intentions.
Kind of an
somewhere.
honor code.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's that parts of the movie that I'm kind of enthralled with, and I was like, okay, this, awesome. Glad to see that this guy is purely about martial arts, and that's what he was looking for.
Right.
And then there's the parts where the northern Chinese guy comes into town and just starts whooping everybody because that way he can set up a store or training school and not be hungry ever again. So weird
That guy
stuff.
was a pretty good fighter. He was whooping people.
Oh yeah,
The
he was.
out-of-towner.
It is kind of neat because he was stockier, a little bigger than everybody. So, but yes, I don't know. I'm going with a small just because I don't feel like I could recommend it to anybody else. But personally, I kind of enjoyed it.
Right.
Okay.
So
Medium for you and maybe small for overall the world.
I'll say, yeah, you're right. I'll go overflowing small.
Okay.
But I think people will watch it just because of the hype of Netflix.
True.
Yeah. I mean, I watched it without even knowing anything about Bruce Lee, and I feel like if people knew that, they're kind of like, ooh, Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
No, I gotta watch it.
Right.
Yeah. Joe, what?
Some kind of cool fighting, but also those can kind of get to seem a little repetitive.
I think that's every kung fu
Just
movie.
looking at them from like the outside, sometimes it kind of seems like
Yeah.
we're just doing the same moves, even
Yeah.
though they're not. They're doing a lot of different stuff. It's kind of the same thing over and over. Bam, 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 pop, 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 pop. It's like, okay, we've seen this before. And they mix it up a little bit with weapons and other, opponents and all that. But yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So on this one,
I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah. Hit us with it, Joe.
yeah. So this one, as the guys have already said, this was kind of a complex movie to review. There's a lot of different paths to go with. Was I entertained? Absolutely. Way better, way more entertained than I thought I would be. Because when it first started, I thought, oh, this is. Justin's already fair warning me that he may be regretting this decision. I'm scared, and then when it started, it's like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. And I look at the runtime, and it's hour 45 minutes. I'm only 15 minutes in. I'm going, this is gonna be a long movie. And then when you see that there's sequels to it, and I'm going, why? And I found it weird because it seemed like this movie was actually almost two movies in one. Because we see Ip Man, at about the 45-minute mark, and it's almost like the movie ends. And then it starts like the second chapter of his life, which I thought was a little different. It was kind of neat. Would I watch it again? Probably not. Would I watch the sequels? I'm torn. It's one of those, I don't want to watch them, but yet
I gotta be honest. I was kind of disappointed that there were sequels. I was like, what? Why?
If you were scrolling through the TV, though, maybe you came across it on cable or something. You'd watch 10 minutes just to see what it.
it'd have to be the first 10 minutes, because
Yeah.
if it was like in the middle of it, I don't even know if I would do that. But was I entertained? Surprisingly, yes. And that's what gets me is I was completely blindsided by how much I was entertained by it. So for this one, I'm going to give it a medium.
Oh,
What?
Yes.
Jeez.
I'm right there with you. I'm overflowing or medium or something in there. Yeah, it wasn't anything too terrible, but some cheesiness for sure, I think.
It's completely different than anything that we've done. I think that's kind of what we're running into. It's hard for us to review because it's completely off the scale of what we normally would go after. Because is it an action movie? Yeah. Is it is it more? Because when I hear action movie, I'm thinking like something like Die Hard. That's a definite action movie.
Yeah.
And this is like a different type of action.
Yeah. Kind of historical and
Yeah.
drama component.
Yeah, because it's labeled as an action biography and drama, which it absolutely is all of that. So it's it's interesting.
Yeah.
So
I guess, that's the thing. Some of these fighting movies might suffer from sometimes is they're investing a lot in the fighting, maybe not so much in the acting and the storyline. That some of those things can take a little bit of a backseat to this is a kung fu movie, so
Right.
it's all about the
Right.
fights and stuff. And other stuff's kind of filler in between.
Right. Yeah, because I first thought when he said he was going to fight 10 men, I thought, okay, now we're just doing it just for entertainment purposes. But the way they pulled it off, it's like, okay, that is impressive. Because I thought, okay, they're going the Chuck Norris route on this, and it's going to be overly cheesy. And it's like, no, it's like this is what it should be. It's not, it's action, but not action for action's sake. It's impressive.
Yeah. Joe, just a side note, do you have Hulu Premium?
Yeah. Well, no, wait a minute.
It's gotta be premium.
It all depends if it's just Hulu or Hulu Live, because I have the paid version of Hulu.
It says premium.
Well, then it may be an add-on channel for, like how Stars and stuff like that does that.
I don't know.
So I'm taking it that it's now time for Dave to break to.
Well, I'm looking to see what I can offer this time without
Well, what's the name of the movie, and I can check and see.
Reign Over Me.
Reign Over Me. Okay. Because if it says premium subscription, that usually means that you've got to have yeah, okay, it's part of the Showtime package. That's where it says that's what says premium. Because you have to have Showtime.
That's what you're saying.
No.
Sling TV premium subscription.
You got to have the Showtime package on
Roku?
Sling. Yep, same thing.
Wait a minute. What about Amazon?
Yep, premium subscription. I just pulled up Amazon, says with Showtime add-on.
Man, can't watch anything good up in this joint, Joe.
Well, I'm just shocked that you're looking at a movie that has Adam Sandler in it.
A different Adam Sandler.
I mean,
Good, I
I'm
figured-
totally opposed to a rental. It's not like everything we have to do is always free all the time.
Ah, it just stinks.
Okay.
Okay. All right. What do you guys feel like? Let's do a little. What do you feel like this week?
All right.
I
Do we have some options?
I got one. Hold on. Let me check this out.
Ip Man 2 or...
Do we just skip straight to 3 with Mike Tyson?
Yeah.
Probably.
Or do we just go to 3 and just fast forward to the Mike Tyson scenes?
All I'm saying is I haven't had a bad pick yet, so I gotta be careful with what I do. I'm kind of like batting 100 right now, or you know,
Yeah.
batting 1,000.
No, I think you had it right the first time you batted
No, I'm
100.
batting 1,000. I'm batting 1,000, and I can't mess it up. So I gotta make
Yeah.
good picks.
That's right.
So
Okay, yeah, now Facebook's going to take this video down for fake news.
Misinformation.
Yeah, our fact checkers have concluded Dave is full of it.
all right. I'm looking. You guys have HBO Max,
Yes.
Justin?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna give you some choices.
Ooh.
Give me 80s.
2013.
Retro throwback.
Nope, we're not going retro.
All right.
Really?
2009, 2013. All right, so one has, I'll say, a Paul Rudd film or a Vince Vaughn film. You guys pick.
Ooh.
Both of them are comedies.
Kind of leaning Paul.
Me too.
Okay. I like where your head's at. It's on Netflix, boys and girls. It's got Paul Rudd, Jason Segel, Rashonda Jones, who was on the commercial for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Rashida?
Rashida, yep. Andy Samberg.
Man, this is going to be good.
Yeah. All right. I Love You, Man. For my guys. Here we go.
2000.
2009.
2000.
It's on Netflix.
All right.
That is the official pick. So again, batting 1,000, just
Yeah.
knocking dingers out of the park left and right. Let's keep that roll going. Yeah. All right, I'm happy with that one.
And Rashida was on The Office.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Karen Filippelli.
Okay.
Yeah, the only Karen. Well, one of the not the stereotypical Karen. Oh, it's got Lou Ferrigno.
Yep, he's in it. Eventually, some of my better '80s picks movies will be to where we can watch them. I got some tricks up my sleeve, but
Joe, have you seen this one?
No, I haven't. You?
have you really?
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so Justin, what are we in for here?
Do you want me to pick a different one, Justin?
No,
Since
no,
we're
it's
saying-
all right.
You okay?
Yeah, it's been years.
So what are we in for on this one? Because Dave's kind of biased, so
Oh, I'm not biased. I'm just
am I-
truthful.
Definitely a bromance.
Yeah, bromance.
With some good old comedy.
It's a guy romantic
I
chick
like
flick.
Siegel. You don't see him as much anymore, and
Yeah,
he's funny.
now when
he's
we,
good in this one.
When we start reviewing TV shows,
Oh gosh,
Uh,
no! I'm not watching the card, whatever he ends.
the what? The Kardashians?
Yeah,
I
I refuse, Joe.
I'd make you sit and watch Howard the Duck for 8 hours before I'd make you do that.
I don't believe you. I know you're all about it.
Shall we? We should definitely review at some point. Freaks and Geeks.
Mm-hmm.
He's on there.
Huh.
Have you ever watched that?
No, I don't have to.
Freaks and Geeks. That's a good one. It was on NBC. It had Jason Segel. It has a lot
Seth
of.
Rogen.
Uh,
Seth Rogen as like a little kid, or a high schooler, whatever.
yes, had Seth Rogen.
Oh, John
Jane-
Francis Daly,
James
James
Franco.
Busy Phillips, Seth Rogen. Huh? I've never
uh,
seen any of it.
Dave Allen. Rashida Jones was on there as well. Joe Flaherty, Ben Stiller,
Oh, I got Shia LaBeouf, David Krumholtz.
Thomas Wilson. Yeah, Thomas Wilson was Biff on Back to the Future.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, this show was only on for one season, but it's a cult classic.
What happened to it? Was it that good, or is it just unique?
It was good and unique. NBC just dropped the ball on this big time. Like they kept changing the days around, and they like showed on a Saturday night. I mean, it was NBC just completely missed on this one.
Gotcha.
So when we'd make that decision to do some TV shows,
I still got a whole list of movies.
Oh, I do
Joe.
too.
My list is like 100 strong.
Oh, I got a list too, but I'm just saying when we decide to pull that trigger, or if we want to change things up, that show's definitely on my list of.
Okay. I
Most
might check
of
it
it.
out a little bit here.
Yeah, definitely on my list now. Now that I know that. Justin, have you ever watched it?
Wow.
A little bit, yeah.
That's back in 1999.
Yes, and it's It's based around high school kids in the 70s.
Judd Apatow. Huh. Interesting. Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Prepare yourselves for another fantastic pick by me.
I love you, man. Go ahead. Stream it now.
Yeah.
I have it on my
Yeah.
watch list. So.
There we go. All right.
Got it.
Prepare yourself, Joe, to be impressed.
I'm gonna say with the casting call you're already throwing out at me, this one's I'm going in with pretty high.
You know, it's weird. I think this was a sleeper. Like I don't
Really?
Yeah, I don't remember it being like a big box office smash hit.
with this kind of cast.
Yeah, I think it just slid through the cracks and then turned up as a watch me later on Amazon or whatever and Netflix
and picked up from there.
Yeah, I think does that seem right, Justin?
Mhm.
I mean, like I never watched it or even heard about it until Netflix, and I was like, huh, neat movie. Okay.
I remember hearing about it when it came out, but I don't. Wasn't something everyone was talking about or anything.
Right.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, somebody take us out of here.
All right.
Joseph.
So for more news and reviews, check out our website, beentherewatchthat.com. Follow us on social media at BTWTpod on that, and send us your request for movies and shows that you think we should review, or tell us if how close we are on our ranking system, if we're dead on, or if we was completely missed the ball on any of these reviews that we've made. And
A little bit of foreshadowing. I brought up the empty box one just for the next pick coming up, Joe.
the empty box one.
Yeah, like no popcorn at all. One step below burnt.
Oh yeah, that. Are you saying that for I Love You Man or what?
No, the next one.
Okay.
Your pick's coming up, Joe. It better be good.
Okay, so
That empty box could be waiting on you.
okay, so I'm coming off the heels of My Cousin Vinny, so
This
you
is true.
yeah.
This is very true. All right, never mind. Justin, the empty box might be waiting on you, pal.
We'll save it for the fan pick, and then we'll have to worry about it.
The fan pick last time was very good.
Yeah, Bullet. It was different.
I know, I like that. That was good job on the fan pick.
Throw a Mama from a Train.
Yeah,
Princess
also very
Bride.
Yeah.
Willow.
I just
some
wa-
interesting fan picks.
I just watched that episode Monday night of The Office where they give out the reference to the Princess Bride. I immediately looked at the scene and goes, it makes more sense now.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta see the movie for that one. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
And
Cool.
so be sure to follow us on social media at BTWT and be sure to subscribe to the podcast. Been there, watch that. We're on all the major platforms, and all of our episodes are hosted by Anchor.fm.
Awesome. Well, hey, boys, we have been there and we have watched it,
Yep.
and we have ranked it and rated it and talked about it and signed it some popcorn. So yeah, be on the watch out for that non-popcorn rating. You never know. There might be another Howard the Duck.
Yeah, I'm anxious.
Yeah.
I'm contemplating just throwing a stinker just so we can get that out of the way.
Come on
If you
now.
get one of those, you lose a turn.
Go straight to jail. Do not pass go and collect $200. Just lose your turn. I see how this
Justin's
is
getting serious now.
going. Yeah, I know. Jeez.
Okay, Justin. So just not that we're going to give it the official stamp since it's been after the fact, but
Mhm.
would have, in your opinion, would Die Hard have fallen into the, if we had the empty box rating at that point, would it have fallen in the empty box or just stayed at burnt?
We'll let it stay at burn.
Okay.
Howard the Duck would have got emptied box.
Well, yeah, considering you said that you would dump the popcorn in an alleyway and then run across all over the alley and then bring it back in and force feed someone, I figure,
Yeah.
that probably would have
Yeah.
fell into an empty box.
It would have fallen into an empty box. You're lucky we didn't have it then. Anyway, all right. Well, another great week of a review here. Ip Man, good pick, Justin. Even though it probably didn't get the rankings it deserved, I felt like it's still a good pick. You brought some unique movies that I never would have picked on my own
Right.
to the forefront.
a complete change up, but
Yeah, I mean, we're coming off My Cousin Vinny, where the two Utes.
yeah.
Kind of a rankle comedy to, all right, kind of a serious martial arts film. So,
Yeah.
So good turn of about.
I changed my notification on my phone, so now when a text comes in, it goes, "What is a Ute?"
Nice. It's always good times when you change your personal settings.
Yes.
That's the new. All right. Well, we've been there. Watch that. Join us again. Remember that fan pick. Get those in there. We really like that. And then comment in. We always like the interaction with the fans. So for myself, Joe, and Justin, been there. Watch that. We'll be back next week for another great show. Join us.